down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
Hey, welcome to the Savvy Radio Show. This is my first time on the video. Well, you're listening to this on the podcast, but it's recorded video at the same time. That's what I'm doing today. You could see what I'm doing. I don't know if it makes any difference. But I got some cool questions. Someone sent me some questions, and I got a ton of them. And they're all loose, goosey notes everywhere. But I'm excited. So here we go. So you recently talked about banking on the radio show. Yes, thank you very much. Someone actually listens. He's like, what's the difference between a credit line and a guidance line? And I think I know the difference, but I would like to hear from the expert. Hey, thanks for calling me an expert, but I'm really not an expert. Just experience. Number one, a guidance line is just like a fake idea of what they think they can loan to you. A credit line is that you are automatically underwritten and it's collateralized by an asset. So let's just give you some fake numbers here. So it's an asset that's worth $100,000. You pledged, you collateralized. They have put a lien on that actual property, and you can borrow 80%. So basically, you have, if it's a debt-free asset, and you put it up for a line of credit, you have $80,000 that, 80% or 75%, depending on what bank and who you're dealing with, you have $80,000 available on a line of credit. That's what that is. Now, what a guidance line is, to get that first credit line, you had to fill out documents, order an appraisal, and pay some fees, roughly around $900, $450 for the appraisal, and so. But now you have access to this $80,000. So that's a line of credit. Okay, it's collateralized, so you can't really sell that property or just quit. Warranty deed it to somebody. You could sell it, but you got to get a release now. Now it's written on the title or the county assessor, the court documents that you have a lien on the property. Now, the $80,000 may have not moved from the line of credit, but it's still held. So that's what a line of credit is. Now, a guidance line is they've done a global, like they looked at all your financials. You've given them the financial statements, not on a one-time cases, but it's a guidance line. So depending on your net worth and what the level of the bank you're dealing with, they say, hey, you're approved up to $200,000. That means maybe you had 4 or 5 or 10 houses and 2 of them are paid off or 5 of them are paid off and your income to debt ratio is good and you have a W-2. You may get a guidance line. And that guidance line is just like they've already underwritten you. They believe in what you're doing. You have some experience. And now we're going to basically give you $200,000 that you can maybe use. So it's maybe used later. It's not collateralized yet. Now you have this like credit card in the sky. In this guidance line is like, so what you do is that you go out and find a deal, and that deal is a good deal, and you order, you fill out your application and you submit it onto your guidance line, and then they'll write it. This time, they don't have to go to the board of directors. If it's within that guidance line, you can get the money. And now that guidance line will debit down to like $100,000. Say if you borrow $100, it's down to $100. And now the one asset that you bought is just leveraged with that $100,000 of the original loan. Now, here's the thing you need to be thinking of. Here's the key factors. Now, of course, this is just from experience. I didn't read anything about this. This is from me borrowing money. So you need to verify whatever I'm saying. It'd be helpful for you. But one thing you need to think about, don't think that a guidance line is a guarantee. And don't think a credit line is a guarantee either, or a line of credit. Because when the market changes, things happen. The guidance line will disappear quickly. If the market crash and you got a divorce or something happened, they'll just close your guidance line. And it's a terminology that's used within the banking system. Your line of credit, the same thing. Don't think your line of credit is solid. Yeah, it's collateralized on an asset, But in your document, when you signed it, when you collateralize this document, it says at any time they can call this up. So you got to be very careful in these tools, these tools to grow your net worth, your wealth. They're not edged in stone. They're not perfect, and they're just used for different reasons. And so let me give you some reasons why you could use these tools to help you in your business. Now, keep in mind, now the line of credit is pretty solid. You have a loan pretty much established already, and they're not going to call that up unless it gets weird. And some banks may require you to submit financials on a yearly basis, and some banks on a line of credit, they want you to exercise it too. When you have a guidance line, it's kind of elusive. You don't really have to exercise it. So this kind of a soft number they have in the sky that they know that they can loan you up to this amount without having board approval. The line of credit's already established, already done. You could use it at any time, but still, you need to understand. Now, here's some things that why would I use these tools and how I use them. First of all, I build a relationship with the bank, Skippy, and I find out what my guidance line is. So based on your net worth or where you're at in your portfolio, I can line up a certain amount with the bank. Let's just say $500,000. So I actually build relationships with several banks. Let's just say 10. At $500,000, that's how much? $2.5 million of available credit that I'm able to access. Now, banks talk to each other. If I ramp up $500,000 here, $500,000 there, the fourth or fifth bank may not be so privy to that. Okay. That's one reason. But so I do build relationships with banks, and I establish a line of credit. Or not a line of credit, I mean a guidance line. I give them my financials, they pull credit, we kind of go through an underwriting, I kind of give them my goals and what are my objectives, and I kind of get that ready. I want to exercise that as soon as possible. Then on another bank, I may have 2 or 3 or 5 debt-free properties, and I get lines of credit against them. So I have $300,000. Let's say I got 3 houses. They're worth $125,000 each. I get lines of credit. Now this is costing me money. The guidance line doesn't cost me money because it's just underwritten, my loan, like if I'm bankable. The line of credit, I got to pay for appraisals on all 3 properties. I got to sign the documents. And now in some banks, they record it. So that's another thing you're going to need to be careful of. The guidance line is not recorded. Your line of credit is recorded, and it looks like an active account on your credit. So just again, you got to be cautious in how you use these tools. You don't want to just get lines of credit because it shows up as revolving credit. Now, on an installment loan on a rental property, it's a little bit different. But for fast and furious, so I got 3 houses leveraged, not really leveraged because you haven't used the line of credit. I have the ability to borrow $300,000, but I haven't exercised that. So I go out and build relationships with the banks to get guidance lines ready to roll. Then I get lines of credit on assets that I have, either debt-free or leveraged or in a bulk. Now I got $300,000 in cash, and now I have $2.5 million. This is how VanCauwenbergh do it. This is how I do it on a daily basis, ladies and gentlemen. If you have a question, I do this now. I've been doing this for 10 years, FYI. I have lines of credit built up worth $300,000. I pop off a few or 5 deals, maybe up to $200,000. I get that $200,000, say that's 3 deals. Then I take that $200,000 on my line of credit, which was a no money down deal because I used a line of credit. I leveraged the properties that were debt free or had equity on them. I took those properties, those 5 or 3, $200,000, and then I go use my guidance line to write that paper with that bank, and it's already pre-approved, and usually within a short amount of time I close those deals. And then I rinse and repeat, do it again. So that's the difference. Great question out there, investor that's killing it. Appreciate you for asking that question. I'm taking questions. Go to Savvy Investors, hit the radio show button, and I would love to help you in any way I can. Well, that one's always 9 minutes, so we're going to keep on rolling here. Here's another one. First of all, someone, the thing that popped up today, another question, not a question, but it's like decisions. Listen, you can't spend a lot of time making decisions. This is a problem I see with society. This is a rant now. This is not a question. But if you got to think about something, you've got to make decisions, and this is how I make decisions. What is the end result? And what is the risk? if you got to mess around looking up TV monitors, this just happened to me today. So I'm trying to ramp up the video. Hey, video, hey. Try to hip it up. And we can't see what's going on, so we have to get a monitor. I can spend 3 hours on a decision, but I ask myself, what's the worst thing that could happen? I spend $80. See, the great thing about Amazon, I could return that mug. And I know sometimes it's free returns, but I know my worst case scenario is going to cost me to ship it back to them $7. So I can borrow Amazon's inventory, get a monitor delivered to my office, test it. If I don't like it, what's my risk? $10 and some 5 minutes to ship it back. That's the problem with society. You don't buy anything. You don't do anything. You shouldn't buy stuff to buy stuff. But the point is, you've got to learn to make a decision. It's a decision you may never know. I know this for a fact. When it was snowing and I don't want to go to this rock concert because I was working with this band, and I'm glad I did. Anytime you don't want to make a decision, that's when you should make a decision. And the thing that you don't want to do, you don't want to go make that phone call, or you don't want to go see that gal, or you don't want to see that prospect. That's a bad decision. Make the decision because you don't know what's going to happen. What's the worst thing that could happen? That you learn something? That you made a mistake so you can grow? Make decisions. Colin Powell said the problem with America is that we can't make decisions. Listen, my nickname, not on the Savvy office, at my old office, they called me Trigger. It drove me crazy because I'm willing to take risks, pull the trigger, and then figure it out later. That's how I put myself in a position. I set my goals and I pull the freaking trigger. And so, yeah, sometimes I booked hotel rooms and I got to get refunds, or sometimes I have to cancel something, but I'm making decisions that are going to better my life. Make decisions quicker, faster. You want to be an entrepreneur? You got to be fast, fluid. Hey, sometimes you got to make a decision. It's wrong. You could always say no, but you could say yes later. You don't want to say yes and then say no later because it just looks bad. Say no first and yes, but make a decision. Not making a decision is a decision. So that's the word of the day. Make a decision. The second question point, I got to tell you, is your health. So I'm hanging out with this. I get another guy calls me. He's like, hey man, here's this question. I want to put this on out here. Oh, another question. Hey, I got a package of 8 houses with this bank. What do I do with this? I need, because I want to refinance. I need to get some money out. And I was like, how do I do that? Well, the first question is, I asked him, dude, what do you need the money for? He's like, I need the money for a roof and some improvements. I was like, okay. He's like, I got this portfolio with one bank, 8 houses. And one of those is worth has an ARV, an appraised value of 65%. So there's equity left in one house on an 8 house. So the other 7 houses have no equity. I mean, there's equity, but it's at the maximum with this bank, 75 or 80. Can't remember what the question. So the question for him was, hey, I want to get cash out from this loan. How do I do this? Well, first of all, you got to ask yourself why. Is there a way, you can do this, and this is how you approach it. So let me just answer the question, and then I'm going to get on my freaking rant. Number one, first of all, you got to approach the bank and ask them, what does it take to release a property? Because one way you can do it, you can pull that one property out, since it's has so much equity in it, and refinance that property with another bank. So you got the 8, you take it down to 7, and you pull one out. So, but some banks require a bunch of stuff to do that. Or you could just straight up call the bank and say, hey, I would like to pull out $10,000 of equity on this asset against a total loan. And so there's just a conversation that you need to have with the bank, but you need to communicate properly, and you need to have they're going to ask you questions, and you can't fumble with these questions. For example, they're going to ask you, what are you going to need the money for? Well, I want to do some improvements. You can't say that. You got to say, I need to repair the roof. I need to put a new roof on. Be specific. The second thing is, they're going to ask, how much do you need? The guy that I talked to trying to help, he's like, I need maybe between 10 and 12. I'm like, bro, you can't talk in ranges with banks. You got to be specific. I need $12,000 to do a roof on a property. I have the money, but I'm going to use it for somewhere else. And I was just going to, since I have equity left in this loan, before you get into that conversation with the bank, you need to find out what their policies and procedure is on how to pull a house out. Okay. And maybe that's a podcast that I should do, and I'm already up to. But here's the thing about this whole deal. First of all, you're thinking is there another way that you can get this done? That's the question you should ask yourself. Why do I need the roof? How much does the roof cost? And the most important thing, you're spending all this time and effort. And this is where this conversation went. I was like, bro, it's freaking December 31st. The new year, you should be focusing on taking care of your health. You're the number one asset. You are. Get to the gym. Walk 10 minutes a day. You're getting depressed and worrying about a loan and all this stuff. But if you were healthier and a better individual, you can have better relationships, you will perform better, and you wouldn't be going backwards, or you'd be thinking more clearly. When we are overweight as people in general, we are sluggish. When we're overweight, we're not cognitive. We're not thinking properly. We got too much sugar in our bloodstream. Listen, I'm not a health guy, and I know this is a crazy thing, but I love this guy so much that he asked me that question, and then the Lord spoke to me, and I was like, I just need to remind this dude, and I need to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the world, your health is the most important thing. You can't, being a millionaire and dead tomorrow doesn't make any point. All right, here's another rant. Here we go. We're rolling down the road here. Role play. I'm trying to talk to this dude on this real estate investor wannabe guy, and he was on. I was listening to his phone call. And he's trying to close this gal, and she asked a very simple question. Why do you want to do this deal? And he couldn't answer the question. Listen, you've got to start practicing role-playing ASAP Ricky. Find someone in your world that has the same interest in real estate and role-play. Role-play if you need to borrow money. You've never borrowed money. You need to role-play on private money, or role play on how to ask people to convert the IRA. Whatever the case may be, role play. Practice. What do you think freaking athletes do? They practice. You can't just read one book and act like you're going to know what you're going to go. Get out in the environment. It's the easiest thing to do is practice on someone that knows a skill or has been down that road. Find a mentor and just practice 10 minutes. You can do it over the phone. You can do it through Zoom. You can do it through Skype. There is no excuse. The excuse is that you're freaking lazy. If you're going to expect to be a millionaire, show the F up and know the script. Know the script enough. Now, keep in mind, the script's not going to be perfect. You're going to have to ad lib, but at least ad lib by practicing. So the thing that you need to get out of today is that you need to role play. All right. Now, here's an interesting thing. Here's another scenario that came up. So I'm negotiating a deal right now. It's kind of an interesting deal. Maybe I'll do a podcast on this one. I don't know. So I've been back and forth with this dude for a while, and I'm at the end of the road of negotiating. This guy has these $500,000 worth of properties. Well, he thinks they're worth $700,000. Okay. They're appraised for $700,000. Automatically, I have a ratio. I'm going to offer 70%. I haven't even looked at him. Offered him $500,000. He comes back, takes off some of the properties, and then gives me a number. Okay. Now, here's the question, or here's the thought. How do you get someone from one perspective in negotiating on your page? Okay. So I asked this to a young hustler, savvy investor. He said, you give him the facts. I was like, man, that's a really good answer for somebody, just starting out in the game. We'll give you that one. That was a good one. Facts. Now, it's how you deliver the facts that really matters, but the facts. The interesting thing that was really cool is what I said was you got to walk them through the process. How do you get to that number? And so I said, my number is based on every property that I buy today, 2020. It requires $10,000 worth of instant infusion of cash. Every home that I've ever bought today has not come with free carpet or brand new carpet laid in the thing. So I'm usually pulling out carpet. I'm usually painting it. Doopy brown is not the color anymore. It's sexy gray. That's the color for today. Now, 5 years from now, that color is going to change. I was so mad when nobody liked beige anymore. I was like, beige and white. Dude, you're a fool if you paint a house that's beige on the outside. I mean, with white trim, it just doesn't work. There's always going to be a cost. So I had to walk this real estate investor through it. This investor was He's a big investor. He's got several $1 million worth of property. He wants to chunk off about $1 million, actually about almost $2 million. He came across someone referred me. Thank you for the referral. I need to take care of that homie that referred this to me. But we're still way off on the prices. So the point is that you got to give him the facts. The reality is it's going to cost this much money to get it up to rentable rate. And so I just said a few things. So you've got to walk people through the process. So for example, you've never, let's give me an example. You're going on a call, you did your marketing and it actually worked. And someone actually called you. And you're going to have to go and lock up this contract. You're going to have to walk this person through if it's a creative deal. So for example, they've never done a subject to before. So you're going to have to be very patient and you're going to have to get all the questions organized and walk them through the process. So like if you're trying to raise money from people that have self-directed IRAs, you're going to have to walk them through the process. And this will be a good Wednesday walkthrough. Basically, ma'am, you got to convert your IRA, your 401k over to a self-directed IRA. What is that? So you have to explain what a self-directed IRA is. Walk them through the process. And the more that you walk them through, like we have to go to a title company and we have to get insurance and there's a lot of people will get overwhelmed. That's great. You are the expert. You're a real estate investor. You're the expert. That's your job, is to walk them through. When I'm patient, and I know a number one wholesaler that's phenomenal at this, he walks them through the process and he treats them like, I'm going to take care of all the details. You sit back and you relax and I'll take care of it. And you just sell me the home for $20,000 less. And the guy's phenomenal and he does it well. And I learned from him so much because I used to be that guy 10, 20 years ago. I got cash. I can close. That line works, but it doesn't work anymore. It kind of works on certain people, maybe desperate people, maybe distressed people. It works, but it's called the hammer technique, and I don't think it necessarily works all the time. Now, here's a couple of tips for you for the end of the show here. I've been coaching a very high C. Now, I used to hate these punks because everything has to be perfect or they can't move. Number 8 doesn't say, no, get to number 5. Yeah, all right, listen, because number 8's not clear, so it throws your whole game off. Okay, listen, standard procedures or standard concepts for closing deals is a standard, but it's not the default way of doing everything. So what I'm trying to say is you got to have an understanding, a concept, but it's not always that way to do it. So what I'm trying to say is yes, you can go get a bank and get a loan, but why not have another alternative to do that? We can do that with creative financing. It's impossible to be successful in the real estate game that not every transaction is the same. None of them the same. Like human beings, not one human being is the same. They're all different and all original. Only thing that's the same is freaking Burger King or McDonald's. You can go to Tokyo tomorrow, and the Big Mac is going to taste like the other Big Mac. That's why they serve billions of people, right? But in real estate, you can have a general standard concepts of closing deals, but it's never going to be the same way. Everyone is a human and everyone has in their own way of their life of doing it. And so I've seen a lot of high C people lose deals, lose money on the table because it did not fit in their matrix. It didn't fit in the way they do deals. Now, I am a real estate investor. I only buy certain deals now, but when I first started, I bought any deal. Or I bought any deal that was a no money down deal. But now I have tightened in my scope and I won't deviate for certain things. I won't work past 3 o'clock. I won't compromise. But that's not the now there's some times I'm going to have to go look at a house at 5 o'clock if I know if it's a solid deal. But but it's the standard concepts, but it's the way you deliver it would be a little bit different. There's difference in how you deliver the closing. Hopefully that makes sense. I lost my train of thought. All right, so now here's another thing I've learned from talking to this dude the other day. It drove me crazy. Leaving money on the table. Now, the only reason why I know this one is because I used to be like this. You got to train yourself up so if you're mastering one area of real estate, which is what you should do. Okay. Like it could be in the hood. It could be high-end homes. It could be lease options. It could be subject tos. It could be bank funding, creative finance, whatever the things that you want to master. And you should master something. Okay. And I think you should master the basis, but you've got to have an idea of how it all works. And so I have this basis. And so my basis is wholesaling. To me, that's the bottom barrel. No offense to you wholesalers out there. Good luck. Here's the deal. But you need to have, do I wholesale? Absolutely. I've taken down an office building and wholesaled it. Okay. And did a fine profit. Now, I tried to buy this office building, a law office, and I thought I was going to move my office in there, but my numbers did not work. It was way too bougie. I didn't want to be downtown. I don't want to be on 13th Street. I don't want to be dealing with corporate people that had to be driving around in their nice little Tesla while I'm trying to get home to my kids. So I realized I tried to buy this asset, and at the same time I had another asset that I had under contract, the building that I'm sitting in, and I had to make a decision. But see, I turned to the basis, and the basis was wholesale it. See, some investors, young or high C investors, will just walk away. It doesn't fit my matrix. No. It does fit in your matrix. Never leave money on the table. If you spent this time and energy, bought these courses, read this, listened to this podcast, you have invested into your career, you should get paid. Amen. You should get paid. Now, how do you get paid? There's several ways you can get paid. You can wholesale. You could subject to it. You could do a lease option. You could do options. You could do percentages. You can also get cash to sell the contract. That's kind of wholesaling. You can also partner with someone else called the JV in joint venture. So this deal that you're going to drive and go look at may not be the deal for you, but it may be the deal for somebody else. I have bought subject tos from wholesalers that didn't know the paperwork. They didn't understand it. It's complicated. It is, but I'm willing to take that risk. I will read about it. So keep in mind that don't just limit it to that thing. And so you may go to a call and the lady, it just doesn't sit in your matrix. This is why I love talking to like-minded investors, and I have one, and his name is Thomas Morgan. I call him. I'm like, dude, I got this deal. We talk about deals every day. We were talking about 7:30 in the morning on the way back from the gym. We're talking about a deal. Every day we're talking about a deal. I'm like, I got this deal, and this lady's like this, and she said, he's like, dude, did you do this? Nope. That's why you got to get a network of loving people in your circle. Maybe one, maybe two, maybe three. I have 3 people in my world. I call one phone number, no answer. I call another number, no answer. I call another one, they usually answer. I'm like, this is what I am thinking. And so that person is an expert in bank funding. This friend is an expert in creative. This friend is an expert in joint ventures. And so the question is, or the deal is, you have options. Don't leave anything on the table. Learn all the basis of all those things I said, and the rock bottom basis is wholesale. So if I run through the checklist in my mind, can I take it creatively? Can I take it no money down? Can I take this deal owner finance? Can I take this deal subject to? Can I take this deal, my new deal, lease options? Love them. Can I take it lease options? Can I take it this way? Do I want to use bank funding? Can I use bank funding? Is it smart to use bank funding? Should I use bank funding? No. Then I'm going to wholesale it. And that's how you should do it. All right. Man, I'm trying to think. What else? All right. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my notes for the day. Unless you bring me some notes or some questions, I would love to help you in any way I can. Make 2020 off the chizzy chain. Make it big. Do it big. Write your goals down. Matter of fact, my homie, he better email me. Email somebody your goals so you have some accountability. But what you should do for 2020, go buy an asset, at least one. And if you can't buy a house this year, buy a vending machine. Or buy an online business service. Buy an asset, effing people. The economy is crashing. Things are happening. You've got to figure out another alternative source of income. Multiple streams of income. That should be my word this year. Multiple streams of income. And it doesn't have to be on real estate. I love real estate. I'm passionate about it, man. But I'm really getting into like vegan stuff, maybe a vegan restaurant, or maybe online, or maybe selling this or doing that, maybe a t-shirt, realdealhustle.com. You never know, but you can't rely on one thing. Be a little diversified. Put all your money in real estate because it works. Any of the money that you make out of real estate, put it somewhere else. If you got no assets, start buying some assets. Invest. If you have $1,000, start loaning that money out to a young kid. Have them flip it. Start buying cars. Figure it out. Partner with somebody. Do something this year that you would never do before. I would love to hear about it. Tell me about it. But what if that process, whatever you're going to do, it's got to yield an asset.
Broke? Just tired of making chump change? Learn how to improve your income and build wealth with real estate investing. Investor Weekend is here to help you do just that. Join us for a powerful, knowledge-packed weekend that is bound to enlarge your real estate investments. What can you expect to get from the Investor Weekend? Hear great national and local real estate investors. Learn how to buy rental property, build wealth, and connect with other like-minded people for funding, partnerships, and even hot deals. Whether you're a seasoned investor or never purchased a property before, you don't want to miss the Investor Weekend. Right now, only $98. Go to www.investorweekend.com now to register or to find out more.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.